Afimov, and we're ready to kick things off. So immediately I'm going to throw you over to our wonderful German duo, Basti and Leo, who are going to be your casters for this round 6 feature match. Gentlemen, take it away.
Oh boy, you heard the name there already. That's a name that honestly is following us here in our YCS and EUWCQ coverage over the years, also at German tournaments, because there's someone dedicated to BLACKWING, and he really dedicated his entire life to it, it really feels like, and he has found the most crazy deck list once again. So why don't we find out how this match is going to go down? Round 6 here at the EUWCQ starts now.
Kristiyan versus Batuhan. Batuhan, he has held speeches to his BLACKWING community. Him and his favorite birds, winged beasts, have gone so far in his life already. And once again, he, as basically the only BLACKWING pilot in the entire tournament, is sitting there undefeated in the featured match. If you love Crow, he's your guy.
Okay, Leo, yes, totally agree. That's always been his theme. But what is that magnet thing doing there?
Yeah, that is something that we so far haven't completely figured out.
Well, we are about to find out, but for the moment, Batuhan will have to lay back and watch what Kristiyan is doing. And yeah, well, we see his hand there. Every single card around is a spell card, and we are going to see Sky Striker paired up with the Radiant Typhoon cards. And let me tell you something, it is not just like a small package with Vision and Mystical Space Typhoon, but there's more. There even is my main deck monsters for the Radiant Typhoon deck.
Yo, that is an answer to Black World, but I wouldn't have discarded that. That is wild, but
I'm sure we can get another one, maybe.
Oh man, look at this hand. This is insane. Engage, chain linkage to get the engage into the graveyard as well before it resolves. So you have 3 spells. That is absolute peak here. Sky Striker, as it is supposed to be played, and you are seeing alt art engages. Now, at the beginning, I was not on board, but by now, I have very much warmed up with the basically Rose version of Sky Striker Mobilize Engage. I love it.
It is, and Kristiyan is now resolving that engage, and he will be able to draw an extra card. And then Kagari already on the field, immediately ready to grab back the engage once more. Leo, as you are one of our Sky Striker enjoyers, and of course with your top 4 run at the French National Championship as well, with very recent success with the deck as well, I remember that you were considering to play the Radiant Typhoon cards in your deck too, but then pivoted away from them. What are you currently thinking about them?
I think that it's a risk going second to run these cards, because if your opponent has some spell and traps, then you are going to have some issues with summoning your monsters, because basically the only good starter that you're having for it is Chant. That's the thing that really helps you. However, you can put up a really, really strong turn 1. If you start with the Radiant Typhoon cards, it's kind of crazy. Also, Kristiyan did something right there that I wouldn't advise for every Sky Striker player. That is, before you have fully resolved and drawn a card for Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, he put his card into the graveyard already. And that basically would mean that you have fully resolved the chain, which means you wouldn't get a draw.
That's true, but Leo, you've been mentioning that you now only have 1 copy of Radiant Typhoon Chant, which is the best starter to the Radiant Typhoon package, so when you draw it, I guess it's just fine.
The question is what he wants to really do with this. Now, oh wow, that's infinite impermanence. Not even on... Was Kagari ever activated? Wait.
Oh, is that where we messed up? I think. We never activated Kagari because the engage is still sitting there in the graveyard, and that would have, of course, been the target you always want to be adding back with it.
I think he searched earlier the Ray, right?
Yeah.
So I think he now has to go into the good old Camellia, and I'm saying good old, but it's the newest card of the deck, basically, with Amatsu.
It really is the opposite of that, yep.
Oh, that Eldon doesn't really do anything. Kind of, he pulled out a Infinite Impermanence, which is a nice interaction. However, that is not the strongest card against your deck. So, it did some jobs. But I was curious to see anyways where this is supposed to go with the Eldon. felt like this. Another downside of the Radiant Typhoon engine is that if you are already having a good hand and you are already setting up your graveyard to get extra draws with Engage and put up your anchors, they don't really add too much.
That's true. Also, please note that actually their scores is X1, so this match is a little more important to them. Of course, every match here at the European Championship is important, but you really want to make sure that you're not getting another loss here at that moment in the tournament already.
Where's he trying to put a Camellia?
It's dancing around, it's having a little dance-off, but Batuhan is just having a read. And I mean, we can't use the effect to send something to the graveyard as we already have amassed so many spell cards in our graveyard earlier on in that turn.
But it's really nice that you can actually just take 2 effect monsters and mash them together to make a Camellia so that you can get rid of the Eldam body that was blocking your main monster zone, Normal Summon Ray, and go into Zero, the card that really pushed Sky Striker over the edge. Offensive and defensive force powerhouse, this card, and it also gets you Engage.
It does, but in that case, yeah, it is the Engage that we're adding back from the graveyard, as it was foolishly left there earlier on with the Kagari, but still we get the chance to resolve it here one more time, and we will be able to draw something with it as well. So Leo, it's funny, because if you ever watched a stream where Batuhan was on, you also know that he's going to be on Blackwing. Yeah. So if you have that facial recognition, probably still not the right word, but you know what I mean, recognition, that's what I was trying to go for, then you could make the call that he's on Blackwing here again. And then, do you want the Widow Anchor or rather the Lemnis Gate against that matchup?
I think 90. Oh my goodness!
That was within the definition of Sky Striker aura. He drew Engage off of Engage, and the way he put it into heaven is how he's feeling right now as well. He's in heaven.
Yep, and now your question just answers itself. You have both of those, Lemnis Gate plus the Widow Anchor. But I think first, well, it's actually a tough question because I feel like except for Batuhan, nobody in this venue knows how the Blackwing deck operates.
True, true.
And if you ask out of the 2,300 something players that we have, I think if you ask them what they would pair it with, nobody would say Magnet Warriors.
I would have not said that for sure. I did not know about the existence of this combination, but Batuhan once again is teaching us something, but he will have to teach us a way to play through 5 set cards here as well, plus the 0 that's in the extra monster zone.
And that is not where it stops, because once you have Lemnis Gate in your graveyard, as soon as you use the 0 effect, you actually get to do a lot more. And this prevents that another Infinite Impermanence trying to get rid of the defensive capabilities of 0 by tributing itself, summoning Ray Rose and popping a card. And that's also shutting off the Lemnis Gate effect in graveyard, unless there is another linkage set.
Oh, that's resolving, okay. There could be another linkage, of course.
If you impermanence that and linkage is activated, you just get another 0.
True, Duotarion. So yes, even though he's known for his Blackwing shenanigans, the first card being activated is a Magnet Warrior card, as that is his newly created combination in this deck.
Hate to correct you there, but this is definitely not a Magnet Warrior card.
Well, it ends up being one, though. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, but called by the grave on Kristiyan's end makes sure that the Magnet Warrior card was trying to search never sees the daylight. But and there is another one.
There it is, Magnet Bonding. This is the equivalent of throwing Effect Veiler on Alistair the Invoker and then getting hit by the invocation. And now we are finding the perfect starter for the Magnet Warrior deck, and that is Conduction Warrior Linear Magnum Plus Minus.
Nailed the name there as well. One of the longest names in the game.
Say it 3 times in a row.
You could have just taken the credit, yeah?
Ah, yeah, that's true.
Oh, we do have linkage. So the Infinite Impermanence that Batuhan used on the 0 basically nullified, as we can just summon out another one, which still is able to use its effect.
I like that Kristiyan read it that way. He saw a first impermanence in the first turn and then said, okay, I'm just going to set a linkage, which not everyone does. Some people keep linkage in hand for a guaranteed follow-up, right? Because what are the chances that your opponent is running through your 4 set spell and trap cards? And he said, okay, you're running impermanence, you might as well impermanence my 0, so then I can use the linkage on your turn and set up another 0 for defensive options.
So Leo, here, we are having a Magnet Warrior package in our Blackwing deck. And the way we know Batuhan, he really prioritizes Blackwing in every aspect of his life. So also, of course, in his deck building. So there gotta be a bridge from Magnet Warriors to Blackwings. Otherwise, there would be no way he's including those cards into his deck. So I'm really curious what that bridge could be.
Yeah, same.
Same, right? Yeah.
I think those cards will end up making a good old Abawaku. And then you will have to find some kind of way to utilize that to get to Blackwing cards. Looking at the deck list, I really do not find the connection. Usually after, if you give us like 2 or 3 minutes with the deck list, we will find a way in which the cards bridge into each other.
But maybe it is Brave Strix? Because Brave Strix only needs level 5 monsters.
Yeah,
but
I thought
how
so
do we
too.
get them to level 5 though?
Yeah, you have a 2 Duotarian.
Well, he's only running one. Oh, man, he is running 3, but you don't really necessarily get those out. Okay, 2 monsters on the field now. That is what usually this Magnet Warrior package is very good at, just getting a lot of monsters onto the field. And we see an early use of the Widow Anchor here, taking control of the beta. And I mean, I'll say we already worked through 3 back row cards there, not investing heavily on Batuhan's end.
That is true. However, he has also used a bunch of cards in hand. Keep in mind, he started with 6, 2 impermanents were gone, and then the Magnet Binding. So actually, he should still have 3 cards in hand with 1 monster on the board. That's pretty good, actually.
Wait, but hold on. Isn't that sending for cost?
The beta, I think, isn't sending anything. It's adding from deck to hand.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And during the opponent's turn, you can tribute it.
Yeah, I was mixing them up.
This is the one that everyone played in Duel Links back in the day when the game came out, right?
Yeah. It is. Okay, Batuhan seems like he's trying to go into the battle phase, which would make a lot of sense as that Conduction Warrior Linear Magnum Plus Minus is 2700. Is the 0 possibly boosted though? Is there a light and dark? There definitely is a 0 and there is a ray in there, so there should be light and dark, right?
Oh yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, so we cannot even run over it, as Linkage was able to give it an additional 1000 attack points.
You can try, but I think
We're just using the 0, yeah.
Yeah.
Good bait, actually. So because Kristiyan kind of forgot about it as well, we are using the effect. It's certainly not the best moment to do it, as we are only going to destroy that plus minus.
there was something that you can do. When it's destroyed, it just adds itself back to the hand.
Yeah.
You cannot use it on that turn anymore, so you're going to be able to use that either as a fusion material with something else, or in the next turn. However, Sky Striker is not known for giving your opponent a lot of turns anymore. When the deck came out, it was a whole different story.
Funnily enough, we did not destroy the Magnum Plus Minus, but instead we just destroyed the card that we took control of. But there is no more taking control of that game, as game 1, after that admission of defeat by Batuhan, goes to Kristiyan.
And he completely concealed the Blackwing engine, hasn't showed his opponent anything.
True.
So that is going to be weird to sight for his opponent, for Kristiyan. However, if he just gets to go first in a possible game 3 and then sets up a field like this again, that could possibly be a nightmare for Batuhan, because going through this is rather tough.
It is, but again, when you see Batuhan, it's not only in the main events of YCSs and stuff, but it's even like every possible public event that he's entering. It's always Blackwing. I've never even seen him touch a different card or a different deck than Blackwing ever in his entire career. For example, I don't even remember what YCS it was, but he won a giant card of SP Little Knight as well back in the day
that
with...
is sick.
Yeah, it was a really cool one. With the Blackwing deck, of course, no need to mention it, honestly, but he is really completely tied together with that strategy, and everyone in the community knows. But is Kristiyan everyone? Does he know?
I don't think he knows about the aura that Batuhan has, and that's why he does not even care. Didn't even need to resolve the Kagari on the first turn with his Sky Striker strategy, because that hand was busted. That was absolutely insane. Vision into discard Amnesty, into Chant, into Engage Linkage. Wow.
And it got even better with the Engage into Engage as well. And the move he made with the 2... Oh! That's the card I needed.
Yeah, that is actually very much the card that you need when you activate Engage.
Yeah, but he actually did not end up needing the Landless Gate that he searched with it, because all the interruptions before that even happening already led to Batuhan losing that game. But now Batuhan will be the one going first and hopefully able to display us that big combo. One problem that I see here right now, Batuhan has always said, and that I'm pretty sure is still the case, Jordan Lockbird is the main problem, the major problem for his Blackwing strategy. And you are siding that in against Magnet Warriors too, so you will definitely have to face that card here one way or the other.
I was gonna say, Magnet Warriors don't help with that.
Yeah.
That is, it's. I really want to ask him why he included the Magnet Warriors into the Blackwing strategy, because it just does not look like there is a bridge. However, I mean, Magnet Warrior puts up a pretty strong interactive field on its own. In Master Duel, it's a little bit better.
It is, definitely, with Block Dragon also being around there. But yeah, that's what I was saying before we got into the round as well. Why would we need that? Like, the Blackwing field, when it is able to combo, is already crazy enough. So why don't we need to add more crazy cards? So in my head, it had to be about bridging and getting to those Blackwing cards easier and better. But we will certainly find out eventually as we do go here into game number 2. There we have him. Batuhan, come on. Let's cook. I mean, the deck building already was enough of a cooking show, but now we want to see it in action. The live cooking action, essentially.
I've never been to a live cooking event, but actually, yeah, German Nationals most of the time is one. Yeah. So let's see what Batuhan has to offer. This hand, from what I can spot, looks rather interesting. I think Blackwing needs a lot of engine to really get going, so including a whole other deck into your main deck does not seem like it is crazy.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
43 cards, Leo. Of course, it's the most consistent deck in the room. Yeah.
That is a good card.
It is a Magnet Warrior deck at the end of the day, and Kristiyan, he's just going to use Ash. I mean, maybe the plan is just simply to bait with your Magnet Warrior cards, to go fully in with your Blackwings, and there we are. Normal summon of one of the best starters in the deck, the Sudri.
That one, if I'm not completely mistaken, is going to give us the Vata.
Yes, Vata has been searched, as that one is mentioning Blackwing Dragon, and that is going to give us the Black-Winged Whirlwind. No, the Black Feather Whirlwinds, I'm sorry, which has now been established on the field. Oh, and that's where the party starts. We are going to bring out that beautiful little Borea Storm the Wicked Wind.
And I think now, as something that is very familiar to Batuhan starts, the explaining of his Blackwing cards.
You must love that as well, though, right? That's part of the deal. When you are so in love with one of those less represented strategies, it just becomes second nature that you have to explain it to everyone else in the world. And I mean, that also gives you the chance to introduce more people to the deck that you love so much. So it only makes sense as he's trying to get as many Blackwing enjoyers into the community as somehow possible.
That is Blackwing Zonder the Dust. That is a really, really good mill target, because you can banish it from the graveyard to add a Blackwing from the deck to the hand. Then you take some damage.
That's true.
No, it special summons from hand or deck. And there we have the Blackwing Dragon, and that way we are actually avoiding the damage that Zonder deals to you.
And we also have successfully gotten a Ghost Rare onto the field. Haven't seen a Ghost Rare in a while here on feature, at least not this weekend.
Little throwback. So this card stacks Black Feather counter.
It does, and Kristiyan is listening to the podcast. The Blackwing podcast is on, and Batuhan in the narrator voice is going to explain to his opponent what it will do. And I think into a matchup like Sky Strikers, yes, there is an Ash Blossom Enjoyer Spring in the deck, but overall there's way more field-breaking cards. There's cards that play well into fields. Against those kind of decks, playing that big of a combo pile is just really, really, really favorable.
Yeah.
As we do see in his extra deck, there is a way to Kali Yuga. And having Kali Yuga against Sky Striker, that just is amazing to have.
Yeah, the best effect of it basically is the effect where you just detach a card and then destroy all spell traps on the field.
You think?
I mean, the thing is, you are not allowed to play cards as the opponent, right? If the Dawn King Kali Yuga is properly summoned, they exceed summoned, the cards in effect cannot be used. And then Sky Striker sometimes has just a few cards to set, like Crown, Fallen the Virtuous, possibly Widow Anchor.
But well, you're forcing that situation onto them, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
But here we are forcing a Rage Raptor Brave Strix over that Borea Storm, the Wicked Wind, performing that Exceed Summon, and we are going to get that rank up magic Skip Force onto the field. We're activating the Skip Force, basically skipping the rules of Exceed Summoning, just upgrading that Brave Strix into that Arsenal Falcon.
And let me tell you something, that is not the only rank up card that Batuhan is playing in his deck. There's also the Phantom Knights rank up magic launch, and I think that you can actually activate this and use the Arsenal Falcon to make Ultimate Falcon.
That's probably the ultimate fail is also a good one. But no, we do go into a Link 2 here with the Summon Shamal and the Arsenal Falcon to go into our next Rage Raptor card, which is the Rage Raptor Brave Strix. This is 3 decks in once even at this point. There's Rage Raptor cards, there's Magnet Warrior cards, there's Blackwing cards. Batuhan is having it all, and he has now used the effect of his Arsenal Falcon to go into his Ultimate Falcon. Why are you celebrating?
So many different Blackwings over the years, and Bora made his way into the main deck of Batuhan. Just a free special summon, some
That's crazy.
nice attack points, and the ability to deal piercing damage is amazing. I'm very happy to see Bora the Spear here.
Bora is insane, a staple back in the day already, setting up the other rank up spell that you were talking about earlier. So the Arsenal Falcon on the field already, oh no, the Ultimate Falcon on the field already is scary, but what can we, do we upgrade the Ultimate Falcon into Kali Yuga? Yeah, right?
Does that work that way?
So we're checking. Let's double read on the rank up magic launch here again. You target a Dark XYZ monster with no Exceed materials. That's a very, very crucial point, as currently that Ultimate Falcon, of course, does have Exceed materials, and then you special summon another Dark Exceed monster that is 1 rank higher than the one you were targeting previously. So maybe we go for a Bao Q. A Bao is going to bring back the Arsenal Falcon from the graveyard, and that gets ranked up into Kali Yuga. That seems like a valid line to me.
Oh no, that absolutely sounds right.
Right?
And maybe you need some of the Magnet Warriors to make a Bao Q, because
that
those
helps
just,
with link materials for sure. It's basically spamming a lot of monsters onto the field, so that could definitely be the case.
You have Zephyros, you have the Xander that you've already used, I think. Also, look at this, bouncing back the Bora, and then of course you summon up the Bora again. Even though I'm a little bit sad that it is just summoned in defense position. But what is happening
Unicorn.
now?
Oh, and he's using... Oh wait, for a second I thought we're using the effect to make it spin back our own Blackwing Dragon there. There comes a Bao Q. Maybe I was right that is our access point to the Kali Yuga. Funnily enough, the Ultimate Falcon on its own is already quite a task to overcome for a Sky Striker player, so we wouldn't even need that necessarily. But it seems like we also got the Ultimate Falcon materials away here. Oh, we are discarding one of our Magnet Warriors, bringing back the Arsenal Falcon.
The thing is, actually, the Ultimate Falcon is not really that hard for out for a Sky Striker.
Why is it not?
Because if you have a big power, you will need a good turn.
Yeah.
You will need some Pot of Sloth shenanigans, something like that. If you actually get 10 spells into the graveyard and you summon a Kagari with linkage, you can just crash.
Yep. That's true. Oh, look. Kristiyan, just having a look at those 2 Rage Raptor cards. And as known as Batuhan is for his Blackwing shenanigans, this Anfield is not necessarily about the 1 Blackwing card on it, but it is more so about the 2 Rage Raptors that are running the show there. And then there is going to be the big entrance of the Dawn King Kali Yuga as well. Hold on.
I was reading the rank up magic launch, and then there is a sentence in bracket that says this special summon counts as an Exceed summon.
Yeah.
Because I was just saying we cannot have the special summon Kali Yuga all over again. That is something that is overlooked sometimes. Back in the day, Exceeds Universe used to summon out Kali Yuga to just have this spell and trap wipe.
Alrighty, so BLACKWING has returned onto the field, and Kristiyan draws a card for turn as he is trying to conquer that field right now.
I feel like you need to really out it or use it early. Other than that, your opponent is going to get some cards onto the board that are going to be problematic for you, like Fallen the Virtuous or something that can get rid of the Falcon.
True.
As response of the Rank of Magic launch. So as soon as my opponent starts drawing with something like a Vision.
That's true, okay. Batuhan is bringing the birds with his BLACKWING deck. Just next to us, there's all of a sudden also Pigeon arriving here in the hall.
Right, that's the new BLACKWING. Hello.
Yeah. So let's see, 2 counters on that BLACKWING Dragon. Where is that all going to get us? Kristiyan has a plan, and that plan starts with Pot of Sloth, while Batuhan is controlling 7 cards in total.
And Batuhan says, hey, you can refill your hand, that's absolutely fine. However, you're probably not going to be able to activate cards after this, because he is trying to go summon out a Kali Yuga as an Exceed summon. Kristiyan is thinking, oh, the Ultimate Falcon, what are we going to do with this? But no, it's a different Falcon.
Mystical Space Typhoon is being chained, as we want to make sure that that somehow at least resolves before the Kali Yuga could ever hit the field. But we are apparently still trying to chain even more. But no, we are just resolving here in the end. And that Pot of Sloth will be now, funnily enough, drawing less cards because we destroyed 1 card on the opponent's side of the field. Don't know whether that's going to matter too much, though.
It's very true. Pot of Sloth is going to resolve. But yeah, Kali Yuga is just chilling here a little bit, or is he actually just also getting rid of all the card effects that have been activated previously? The effects can be activated on field, other card effects on the field are negated. So yeah, that is
No
just
drawing.
Immediately negating the Pot of Sloth. And Kristiyan is going to, he has to read the Kali Yuga. And I've been in that situation before. Once this card is on the field, reading it doesn't really help you anymore.
Yeah, it's a very special card in the way it works, because it's no effect that's activated, so you can't even hit it with the Widow Anchor. So the moment it arrives on the field, it basically just applies its effect, which is completely turning off everything that Kristiyan would try to do for the rest
Look
of the turn.
at Batuhan. He's so
He's
laid
been there
back.
before. He's been there before, I can tell.
He is laughing about this. This is all a joke to him. And Kristiyan is now in the unfortunate situation of thinking that he might have a play, something that he could find, and no, we are picking up the cards. This is going to be it. Successful Kali Yuga shenanigans, possibly the best DDD card ever printed.
Oh, is it? Wave Hiking Caesar is a pretty good one as well, if you ask me. It's
yeah.
a close competition, not gonna lie. I mean, maybe on its own the effect of Kali Yuga is better, but the overall usage and like versatility of the Caesar, I think it's a close call. What do you think at home? I'm not sure.
Why do you think Caesar vanished?
Because the Fiendsmith card is also vanished. With it. Like, they just go next to each other, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think you can still play the Fiendsmith cards. I think
you could.
You don't play them anymore because something like Fallen and the Virtuous, because possibly the Wave King Caesar is so easy to out now. Yeah. Back in the day, when Fallen and the Virtuous wasn't out yet, Caesar actually was kind of a crucial point. Your opponent had to have something like a Forbidden Droplet. There weren't many great outs in the main deck. And now, as soon as you put this card on the field, there's possibly 6 or 8 points. Cards that you can use to out it. Crown, Fallen the Virtuous. I'm saying Widow Anchor, but Forbidden Droplet. There's so many different options to take care of it.
On the other hand, though, Super Polymerization is also being a super staple in the current format, and we just see everyone basically running it. Against that card, Caesar always was really good because there is not many other water monsters that you're putting onto your field, so that's kind of nice.
However, it is a non-spellcaster, which is now also very dangerous, as it is also dangerous to be a spellcaster because of Mixiosa. But there is, of course, also a deck that is very strong branded, and that branded can also still super poly that monster. You can either go into a Titanic Clad, or if there's another monster on your field that is dark or light, you can just... It's just collateral damage from Dogma.
No, you're right, for sure. But here in this matchup, Sky Striker against BLACKWING Magnet Warriors.
Of course, yeah.
When you go first, the siding plan for Sky Striker is rather straight up, right? You just have your trap cards that you're bringing in. Is there anything changing necessarily on this matchup? Going first, do you keep something like Ash Blossom and Joy Spring in your deck if you're a Sky Striker player?
Yeah, I think so. The way I did it was side out Ash Blossom going second.
Okay.
Because the card has very, very little impact and you don't have the ability to side multiple hand traps.
Yeah.
So if you only have an Ash Blossom, you're never going to stop anything. Right?
That's fair.
You have to be incredibly lucky for it to have some use. Going first, you can actually help it versus some matchups like Cool Tune, when you anchor something and then Ash Blossom the Cool Tune Synchro. That is a basic blowout thing. Sometimes you are annoyed by Fuwalos. Most of the time you can actually just let it go through.
Yeah.
Fuwalos always in a weird spot against Sky Striker, because if you wait until the main phase and Ray is normal summoned, you know, Ray tag out is going to stop that. If you don't throw it, they just make a Kagari. And then you also don't get the draw.
Or maybe they just leave the Ray and then just use it on your turn, which is also quite nice.
If you do it in the draw phase, they just go activate Vision Chain Linkage, and then you also don't get a draw, and the 0 is going to happen
really
for
rough.
Search Engage for
maybe
a draw.
You just hold it for your turn at that point, where you can just at least use it at the beginning of your turn, and then you get some value off the 0.
I think actually what's nice is to just not throw it at all, because people are going to normal summon Ray and then activate the effect to summon 0 most of the time anyways.
Good point, actually, yeah.
Or if they go for a Hornet Drones play or Linkage play. So I think the chances are higher if you're just keeping it. So I think Ash Blossom going first actually still a valid card, much rather than going second.
I mean, you don't need to use it necessarily on the Fuwalos, right? You can also just use it on something else, and there's plenty of options in that matchup.
Your end bot sometimes is a little fair. Ash Blossom helps with that.
It is also very fair that we're getting to see a third game between these two players, so why don't we go back into the dueling action?
Let's see, are we going to see another completely incredible hand by Kristiyan?
You know what I just realized when I was recapping in my mind how that second game went?
Yeah.
We had Mystical Space Typhoon, right?
Yeah.
We used that on the Black Feather Whirlwind. We could have just used that in the draw phase on the rank up
Oh my goodness, is it?
Magic launch, because that is main phase
Oh my
only.
goodness,
We could have
yeah.
just avoided the